Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review today, 29 October 2018. My name is Omar Wali. I'm in the studio here with a guest who will be discussing about the silence that Nogo Njai of UDP breaks regarding her health, and I also will be talking to the guest about that. And I spoke to Nogo Njai as well, and the Jammeh to Justice campaign that has been launched to bring the former President Yahya Jammeh to justice. But before all that, I will start with the newspapers. Extraditing Jammeh could be extremely dangerous. That is Reid Brody of a Human Rights Watch, a renowned international lawyer, has said that extraditing the former president of the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, could be extremely dangerous for the country. Let us be honest and pragmatic. Bringing Jammeh back today to the Gambia could be a very dangerous thing, and it could be distraction, and it could inflame tension at the time when the transition is still moving forward, he told the Standard newspaper on the sidelines of the press conference at Tango last Saturday. Brody, who recently served as a counsel for victims of the former Chadian president Hissan Habre, is leading the Jammeh to Justice campaign. And Barrow says he doesn't want commission when he leaves office. That is, the President Adama Barrow has said he wants to leave a legacy that all Gambians can be proud of, and not that will require setting up a commission of inquiry after his administration. The president was speaking at State House while meeting with the district chiefs. The chiefs from all the 5 regions of the country attended the meeting. And I have no plans to form a political party. Sida Bayo, a young Gambian politician and the founder of the National Transition Council for the Gambia, said that a self-styled transitional government in Senegal opposed to the former President Yahya Jammeh said he has no intention to form a political party. He was speaking at a press conference at Jembe Hotel to brief the public about the recent award given to him by the European Union. Bayo said the main aim now is to help Gambia people fully restore democracy and the peace. I am not greedy or selfish despite the political ambition, he told the journalist. Kerry narrates how he survived the massacre in the jungle. That is Martin Kerry of Ghana, the sole survivor of the 2005 massacre of West African migrants in the Gambia, has revealed the harrowing circumstances in which his fellow migrants were tortured and butchered to death. Giving an account of the event that led to the gruesome murder of West African migrants, Martin, who could not contain his emotions, said the junglers used sticks, cutlasses, and axe to kill some of those migrants. He revealed that 56 of them boarded a canoe and headed to Banjul with the intention of boarding a vessel in Gambia to Spain, but they lost communication with the captain of the vessel and ended up in Banjul ports. Government entities spent $3.5 billion in 4 months. That is, the total of 10 government entities have cumulatively spent over $3 billion from January to April 2018. The staggering figures were contained in a 2018 total expenditure report by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs. According to the report, the 10 largest spending budget entities are the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, and the Ministry of Interior and the Office of the President. On the Point newspaper, Barrow meets High Commission ahead of the Prince Charles visit. That is, as the Gambia prepare for historical visit of future head of the Commonwealth, Prince Charles, and the wife, the Duchess of Cornwall. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received in his office the British High Commissioner to the Gambia, Mrs. Sharon Warden, and he was speaking at the State House Press Corps shortly after a closed audience with President High Commissioner Sharon expressed confidence that Gambian will be prepared for this royal visit. She revealed that a lot of work is ongoing behind the scenes in anticipation of the visit, and as Gambia is the first Commonwealth country the Prince is visiting. And the Minister of Information warned against human trafficking. That is, the Minister of Information, Communication and Infrastructure has sent a warning to all human traffickers across the country to desist or else be consumed by the law. Ibrahim Asila made this warning on Wednesday during an organized interfaith press briefing in which the Minister of Tourism and Culture and its satellite institution play a host at the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute in Kanifing. The Information Minister has unequivocally condemned the act by what he called some unscrupulous people who are taking young Gambians or children to some of the Middle East countries in the name of assistance or finding a greener pastures for them. And on the Foroyaa newspaper, the Foroyaa the Janneh Commission visited Kanilai. That is the Janneh Commission of Inquiry set off by the President to probe into the financial dealings of the former President Yahya Jammeh and his close associate on Wednesday, October 24, 2018, visited the home village of the former President Yahya Jammeh for the second time to assess and see for themselves the situation of the properties and he left behind and the state or the conditions they are in. And Brikama youths advocate for One Gambia, that is the Brikama youths, on Saturday held a march past along the streets of the town advocating for One Gambia. The purpose of the march past, according to organizers, was to raise awareness on the dangers of tribal sentiments and its horrific consequences. The guest speaker of the occasion, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, a senior lecturer at the University of the Gambia, urged Gambians, particularly the youth, to discourage all forms of tribalism in our society. He said, and I quote, "I am a born citizen of Brikama, and as I can recall, tribalism was never a cause of concern here. It is politics that wants to divide us and not even politics. But I may say the type of politicians who are promoting tribal sentiment in the Gambia." And the APRC holds rally in Kotu, that is the former ruling APRC party, yesterday, 28 October 2018, held a rally in Kotu, Kanifing Municipal Council. The rally was attended by thousands of APRC supporters, and this is the second of its kind since Yahya Jammeh, the former president, left this country for Equatorial Guinea in January 2017. On Daily News, they also reporting former President Jammeh should be prosecuted. That is Matthew Carey, the only survivor of the 2005 massacre, said former President Jammeh should be brought to justice and to be prosecuted. Well, that's all we have for you on the papers today. I'll move on to a story. As you may know, Noganjai of UDP has break her silence. She was among the protesters who were arrested in June 2016 and they were detained at Mile 2, tortured. But she said she needs assistance to go for an overseas treatment, and the audio sparked a lot of debate on the social media. So today we visited her at Madinaring and this is an excerpt from the interview.
Replace your 3G SIM card today for the Real Africell 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
Li bali pa kan sawolla o di moñen wonta dimendinti ne wodi molbe sohkan adi man sonka fo audio kilento ni minu nata janga lafta pour kan interview ko en nakumo fo wato man si na si sa dombe diamula ko be kala nyaaw mo monte diamunde no fo kunu nata modo so ko nyako ngeto fo audio dole to mandim forum konya ko adibe diamala lebi katon ko to muso ngeje nyamin kunun kon defane keta kumbol ko alal ron be tukri wala sayin fo man satalla wala benjo wala be jarala kay bar jaralo man sot kay jaralo man sot kay katu ngaje ko nakuma kanu men keki mfongo tata president ya fala sokon nasit ay lahidi men wala ma ko nye docteur min kan jara bawla kila nang ay nay ne wisse isulta reporto do na labul sai wo reporto docteur nata kay tul safe afongo ta scanning la data scanning na afongo ko to maya bakelen fakel o nyinen kan kay ko sanyin fenkol dum reporto dum ko nyim bakile docteur elon ko bismillah sayta atata fay karosi docteur man ko la man fem nota ko dimo be wara rimbala nka docteur ko na ko dimo wara rimbala balo be fela be kata fulo be ko do fon keno bu kata no nyaafele abe dibitam bulum be ko mol fon suute no fon say kay we njaahal bak akonya be kayto topato kanne samba be parela Nko ite ka kaito to pato ko ha on to pato le be bulu ngamara president ko ye report wa sulta wolle bul tadi atele don wonde tele do ko te silan fo ko se tari anya ka tumbe dame nimbata don non sutotili tumo do be ye nimbalo mom mantan na dimba ka sin kunto animba dum ba ma kende fo fanoy lafta ma ko wordon alkam akonye o ke mbato pato kan biye ko don kardo lo rafa fata mom femmoy mom fenje nga kol ko take nka doctor akonya mbatu mbe mitino lambe ko la mon nan kol ngabulo ko take fulo kum fula be tamita nata kol ko take ndi ma ko ina fenta nga kol aya kol akoy ko ha jannim friday nak abe parela nka doctor bardo man libe le ci la wala ko nka karana ni silam belaren han parasamol madina ni be jarano la janno te nyanta ko ma sila junale tanu limbe jaralo kan han sain tanu sain nyanta ken delal ntu jaralo nyino donal yo nadima kay ko akay wote ma nyana fanya folante sa wo kayto mi kadida wolen tulunga photocopy soto ni aje ma of kayto fanga ko to pato lafta pour nga fo nyonyala ten wo kay hani akay bokar lim mol ni barotem nkay ko dota ila ko dal ajahalo watambul baka kamun tam feko ibe mol kono sile ben kono siti kanne ntabi tabaro ya katana problème fo e mete je melon mfon tata nga fay andu nga tele ni lon dinyo la ko la docteur lo meti ala tetella ikate jara wala tana ko lafte nyin scan e report ni sambanyana o so report ni o so ta sambate tele hajo to woti ima o samay ka fonte ko na docteur ka be jara jan aylo ne fa be jara anaka na mun jara
Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets and many more. Make a 25% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GT Bank, EcoBank and Trust Bank. Terms and conditions apply. Wait, this is the best part. We are giving a discount on outright payments. For more information and exceptional service, please call our office line on +220 4410 Better still, call us on mobile or via WhatsApp on +220 376 2333 or +220 776 2333. You can also visit our website on www.tafafricaglobal.com. TAF Africa Global. Our experience is global. Our focus is Africa.
She is seeking for assistance to go for a medical treatment. She was among the UDP supporters who were arrested in June 2016, detained at the defunct National Intelligence Agency, and later transferred to Mile 2 Central Prison. And earlier on today, but her full interview will come in our subsequent edition. Reid Brody of Human Rights Watch, an international lawyer who serves as a counsel for the victims of the former Chadian president, Hissan Habre, and victims of the former Chilean president as well, Augusto Pinochet and Baby Doc of Haiti, had said that the extraditing former President Jammeh will be extremely dangerous for the country. He was in our studios today with Matthew Carey of a Ghanaian, the sole survivor of the 2005 West African migrants massacre. They are calling for justice. So as we know, as we speak, Jammeh to Justice has been launched. A campaign has been launched to bring the former President Jammeh to justice. They were in our studios today, and let's take a listen to the clip.
As Yahya Jammeh fell, victims started to come together to seek justice. As you mentioned, I had worked on the Hissan Habre case, and they reached out to me to ask if I could share some of that experience. And so we organized a meeting between Hissan Habre's victims and I'm just sorry, can we? Okay. We organized a meeting between Hissan Habre's victims and Yahya Jammeh's victims. And out of that came this idea to launch the Jammeh to Justice campaign, which seeks to bring to justice Yahya Jammeh, as well as those who've committed the most, or are the most responsible for the crimes of his regime.
So it has to be from the crimes committed from 1994 to 2017?
Sure. I think we know a lot more today about the crimes of the regime than we knew 18 months ago when Yahya Jammeh fell. And I think we're learning more every day. And when the TRRC process finishes, we'll certainly have a real map of the crimes that were committed during that period.
Martin, tell me about that day when you people were arrested and put in a bus and eventually some of your colleagues were massacred. They accuse you of staging a rebellion. Was that the case?
Thank you for this opportunity. But you know, it's about putting us in the back of pickup and sending us for it. The whole story started about they are going to release us. So you are in the compound, they just came for you. They are in the hall, they came for you, send you compound, release you, take off your shirt, tie you with wire. And we are 80 in number in the back of pickup. They decide to bring ladies, but after they say no, they are going to release us after they will come for the rest. So they take us north direction from Banjul, whilst Lamin Tunkara, who is a Gambian, was included. So we finally get to a place where we branched from the highway to the untied road, and you know, one guy who is Nigerian started praying. He's a Muslim, Allahu Akbar, and the man came with cutlass, just use it on the backbone. Slash and the backbone open, blood everywhere. So we get into the forest where Pika find his own way, and you know, we get to a valley where there is no way. The soldiers took off our bags and put it in the valley. While they don't return, a guy complained about a warrior, and the soldier came with the cutlass and slashed his shoulder here, and hand was not completely off, but it's about to get off, you know, briefing and done. So that time I was, you know, thinking that we are going to die. So everybody was trying to do if they can. So I was managed, and I try, and God helped me and get my hand off from the wire. And I tell the guys, you know, I had my hand off from the wire, and they say, it's God who want to save you so that you can tell the world how Yahya Jammeh killed us. You know, so it's like, go, don't go. So if you go, they will kill us fast. So I managed to escape, and I ran to the forest, spent 3 days. After 4 days, I found myself in Casamance, because at that time, I was more afraid to get into people rather to be in the forest. So that's why I get to Casamance, and they sent me to Bunkling Gendarmerie Camp, and later they brought me back to Dakar, and from there, I was sent back to Ghana. Investigation started. So I try hard from 2005 till now. Still, we are not having justice, and we are just want justice to be, because that's what we are doing right now.
Broad of Ghana. Red Brody is an international lawyer and works for Human Rights Watch and trying to bring Jammeh to justice. And Martin was among the over 50 West African migrants who were massacred in 2005. Now in the studios with me I have Dr. Ismaila Cissé, a political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Wale.
Before we start with all that, let's talk about the March Past, if you like, which was held on Saturday. Why the need for that one? What is the rationale behind the March Past?
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you, Wale, for having me on your program. I would like to first of all thank and commend the youth of Brikama for coming up with that noble initiative. Obviously, it's not secret that since Jammeh left power, I mean, the period running towards the presidential elections, the country has never been divided as before, and still we know that the country is a bit divided along ethno-political lines. And then the youth of Brikama felt that there's a need for us for them to organize a sensitization event, March Past and symposium, and you know, bring people together to discuss the problems of our society, and that problem is division today along ethno-political lines, and to raise awareness and to, you know, engage people for us to know the dangers. I think it's very important. For me, I mean, if you have a sickness and you are feeling symptoms and you refuse to discuss your sickness or these symptoms, then you cannot find a cure. We are not saying that Gambia is wholly, tribal sentiments have reached its, you know, at a tipping point, but we are seeing a trend that if we don't halt it or try to stop it, it can lead to something else. So I think the youth of Brikama, they organized this event, and I was invited to go and participate, to be the guest speaker for the event. So I joined them in what they were doing, because it's something that I really support.
Another thing has to do with, you had Nogo Njai there speaking. She was among the people who, one can say, liberate this country. They took to the street, they were arrested, tortured, and all what not happened to them. Sis, do you feel that the government neglected these people?
Well, today is a sad day for me, Wale, and it should be a sad day for every Gambian. I think this shows that we Gambians can sometimes have a very short collective memory. It wasn't a while ago, barely 2 years ago, when Nogo Njai and Fatu Jawara and Solo Sandeng became victims because they were defending what they believed in. They were fighting for Gambia to be free. And it pains me that today when we talk about the achievements of the current government, we talk about freedom.
Yeah.
Now we are free. But Nogo Njai is not free because there's no freedom in poverty, there's no freedom in ill health. There's no freedom in injustice. Nogo Njai is not free. Solo Sandeng is not free. He's in the grave. And may God bless his soul. Fatu Jawara is not free because she's sick. So what freedom are we talking about? And this is sad. And I think everybody has failed here. The president has failed in his moral responsibilities. Lawyer Dabo, the party leader, has failed in his moral responsibilities. I have failed. How many of us really look back and say, where is Nogoy? Yeah. We forgot about them. Everybody forgot about them. Had Nogoy not come out to discuss her plight with the Gambian people, we just would have heard that she's gone, and then we'll start, start crying and making eulogies that don't make sense. So for me, I think everybody has failed. All of us have failed in our moral responsibilities, and today, I think there's a wake-up call. If Nogo Njai, Fatu Jawara, Solo Sandeng's family, whose wounds are still fresh in our minds, if we can treat them like this and they feel that they really haven't been given the justice they deserve, what about those who died 20 years ago? Will they have justice? The Kurosises, the April 14 youths, the Barrows, and so on and so forth. If these who fought, the architects of the freedom we are calling today, are treated like that, I mean, it's painful. I think this is something that every Gambian must take responsibility for. We have failed in our moral responsibilities. And I urge the president and Lawyer Dabo, the leader of the UDP, to really do something as soon as possible to make sure that Nogo Njai and co get the right treatment they deserve, because really deserve every treatment. And it is, to say the least, very disappointing. So
the blame is entirely on every Gambian?
Every Gambian, even we who speak publicly. Did we ever question, did we ever go back and ask, where are the architects? Those who made this happen, did we go back to really look for them? They got lost along the way. We were focusing on so many other issues. Some were focused on entrenching themselves in power. Some were focusing in getting positions. Some were focusing on getting names. And we forgot about those who really fought for this thing to happen.
Why is this so common in Africa when those who fight for, actually in South Africa, when Nelson Mandela took over, he assigned the then president, Thabo Mbeki, and asked him to appoint ministers, and he asked Mbeki not to appoint vice president, but those who fought were in the forefront. Now, but what Nogo Njai is saying, her children, none of them got appointment. Their husband never got appointment. She did not get any medical treatment. What does this mean for this country?
It means that we have a problem of leadership. You see, leaders are people who are very sensitive and compassionate to their surroundings, and they always make sure that they remember people, they remember events, and they make sure that those people get what they deserve. And it seems like here, although I blame all of us, but this is purely a leadership failure. The leaders who are supposed to take responsibility for these people have really failed them. And that is the saddest part.
Are you in any way vying for any leadership position? Because when you say leadership, it has to start with a long way. Chinua Achebe always said the problem of Nigeria is the leadership.
They don't solve our problems in society today, the problems of ethics, morality, corruption, leadership. I think it's time for us to kind of create, design our curriculum that can teach young Gambians to become very good leaders. And I think that is what is missing. That was what is missing in our curriculum. It was missing. And today we can produce very brilliant Gambians, very intelligent Gambians, people who are good scientists and so on and so forth, good doctors, good lawyers. But I think we have failed to produce really good leaders, because I think leadership itself is an art. It's an art. So we have failed to really train a new generation of leaders. I think that is a responsibility we have to do now.
Now let's move on to the OIC. They have budgeted ahead of the summit. There was a press conference last week where they said they will spend, they have over $260 million, and they said they budgeted $400 million US dollars for a 5-star hotel, and 80 million, like a 400, they budgeted 400 million, and we have 18 million, and 75% of that has been secured. 100 million will be spent on road and on 100 kilometers. So, what do you make of this budget? Let's start with the whole thing first. 180 million and 75% has been secured, and you have 100 million will be spent on roads for 100 kilometers.
Yeah, I think, thank you. I think this is a very important topic. It surprised me that the whole OIC thing has not been subject to public debate. Because this thing of national significance, and it should be subject to public debate so the public can share their views and their perceptions about it. Nonetheless, I think this is an opportunity for us to discuss this. Obviously, the OIC organizing international summits can be important. They can have advantages. Because one, the OIC, we have about 57 countries spread across 4 continents with 1.5 billion people population. The GDP alone of the whole OIC area is almost $7 trillion. So which means it's huge. So a small country, the Gambia, hosting the OIC can open up doors, trade, investment, even tourism. It can even put Gambia on the spotlight. But there's a problem. I mean, for me, the question is now whether we should, if we could use our energy, our resources to mobilize these resources to organize a 2-day conference, why didn't we do the same thing to bring money to take care of our victims who are dying one by one? And we have to understand these things. People have moved away from building villas. You remember in the 80s, it was very common at that time when African presidents organized EU conferences to build villas to organize EU conferences.
Like in Gambia and Equatorial Guinea.
Exactly, and Sierra Leone, Siaka Stevens did the same thing, Kwame Nkrumah did the same thing. That's outdated. So for me, to be honest, although it has benefits, but I think for us we should really look at this budget again. One thing that didn't make sense, yeah, the roads are good, these are long-term investments, because when the delegates go back, we can still use the roads. But for me, the villas, for me, it doesn't sometimes make sense to me. Why don't we look at what we have? We have the OAU villas here. It seems like every email we are going to build new villas. OAU we build, OIC we build. Are we going to build for an ECOWAS villas for ECOWAS? So for me, I think to save money and to put the money into more pro-poor programs to lift our people from poverty, what we could do is to look at what we have now, try to augment or renovate them. Because these royals are coming only for 2 days. And the funniest part of it, when I hear them saying we are going to buy 60 to 100 bulletproof vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, that is nonsensical, to be honest. I mean, you 80 million, 50 million, 75 million to buy new vehicles, build new villas, just for 2 days conference. And when these royals and these princes and these presidents go by, they leave us in our poverty. They leave our hospitals empty without blood bags. They leave our hospitals empty with no oxygen masks, and our children are dying. They leave our beggars on the streets still now. They leave our victims still with no justice, and our pensioners dying in poverty. And then what happens? Okay, we organized the OIC conference. Royals came. We had to entertain them in bulletproof vehicles. We entertained them in villas. So what? That's it. So for me, I'm not saying that we should not organize the OIC conference, but then we have to do it in a very responsible way so that it makes sense. But again, that is just, I mean, the way they are thinking.
Because they are saying that they will spend, like, from what I've seen, $13 million on vehicles alone. So my question is, who do you think will use these vehicles?
Exactly. That is my, even the villas. So what happens normally in Sierra Leone and the others you saw, when the events are over, the politicians share the villas among their family members. And who will use these vehicles? Can we resell these vehicles to get our money back? I'm not sure. So for me, to be honest, I think we really have to take it easy with this OIC thing. And we have to understand also the history of this OIC. This Jammeh made the bid to host the OIC since 2012. So the thinking was it was going to take him almost 7 years to plan it. And now we are in October, almost November 2018, and this event started November 2019, and not a single villa is built, not a single hotel is. Can we really make it? And also you have to understand that since Jammeh made the bid, we went through a lot of hiccups. That is, especially during the transition, the impasse and all that. So I think for me, what the government could have done is, look, you know what? We really wanted to host this, but because of X, Y, and Z, we're not in a position to do it. Bahrain has the track record. They have the infrastructure. They hosted it before. Saudi Arabia, the same thing. Turkey, the same thing. Give it back to them. Let them host it. And we can host it another time when we are ready. But for me right now, as we speak, I don't think we are ready to host such an important event because, one, security will be a problem. Do we have the security? Do we have the security infrastructure? The manpower, two, you know, to make sure that all these royals and these big names are secure. And you have to understand that November 2019 is in the middle of the tourist season. There'll be a lot of tourists here. That security, providing security for them alone is a headache, especially having with all this. So for me, I think we should rethink it. But again, that's just how things are working.
So which means, we're talking about this is going to be November 2019. So although it's going to bring positive things, but in other words, it's going to affect tourism as well.
Not necessarily. It might be good for tourism because it will open the Gambia to about a market of 1.5 billion people within the OIC area, to 57 countries and so on and so forth. But for me, I'm thinking about the cost of $260 million. Well, it's no small money. And look at the conference center. It's given, okay, it's always a grant from, it costs $50 million from, but then conference center only, building a conference center for $50 million only to host an OIC summit. What after the OIC summit? What will happen with that conference center? You should not be playing there and Wali and the others. We'll just use it for entertainment. We could have used that $50 million to equip our hospitals or even build new hospitals or whatever. But I mean, sometimes these things make me really think and confirm that we sometimes have missed priorities in this country. Yes, we'll organize the OIC. Yes, Gambia will be on the world map. Al Jazeera will show Gambia, all the royals. MSMBS is in Gambia, you know, all these princes and these kings and things. Then they'll be here for only 2 days and they'll go back to their rich countries. The Bahrainian, they'll go to Bahrain, to Saudi Arabia. Their people are living in opulence. And then we are here, they live us in our poverty. The only thing that will live with us, that is of at least long-term economic benefit, is the roads they build. But for me, the villas, what? The hotels they are talking about, what? These expensive cars, what? So for me, it doesn't make sense if you analyze it from that perspective.
So imagine, like you talk about the timing, Jammeh planned this in 7 years, 8 years. So imagine we have Gambia asks Bahrain, one of these Gulf states, to host the OIC. What plans do you think the government should put in place? Or how should we host this? Do we need to build, like you said, we have the 2006 AU villas here and the cars. What if it was you? If Dr. Cisse was the president of this country, how are you going to host this event?
No, if I was making the major decisions, I wouldn't host it. Just after the impasse, I know that we have a problem. We have a transition. In this transition, we have a lot of reforms. We have the constitutional, we have to review a constitution. We have victims. We have to do the transitional justice. We have to do a civil service reform. We have to do a security sector reform. So our hands are full. We are focusing on building our institutions and our democratic institutions and helping our people, especially our victims. So we're looking inwards and make sure that all these international events, let them wait until later, because now we've just moved from 22 years of dictatorship and then we are trying to rebuild our country. So if it was me, I would ask Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Turkey. They've organized Indonesia. They've organized it before. They have the infrastructure is still there. They have the track record. They have everything. They will not even need to build a single room or buy a single car to organize this. It's just going to be business as usual. So for me, if it was me, I would have told them to really take it away from us and then give it to us at a later time when we are ready. Because I don't think we are ready to host the OIC at the moment as we speak. It's just 1 year down the line. And what can we do in 1 year? It took, how long does it? They've been building that conference center since when? It's over 2 years. Yeah. So you think we can build a 5-star hotel, 4-bedroom hotel in 1 year? You think we can build 60 villas in 1 year? You think we can, with the roads? And you remember in 2014, when Brazil hosted the World Cup.
Yeah.
Even though we know that Brazilians love football, we thought that everybody was expecting exciting summer football. All Brazilians will rally behind the team. But there were protests in the streets of Brazil. Why? Because they thought that the government really did not know their priorities. When majority of Brazilians are living in poverty, they were trying to please the world in organizing a World Cup, spending billions and billions of dollars. And also the corruption that comes with it as well. Because this is a lot of money. There will be a lot of corruption involved in this. How do we and we saw it in Senegal. In fact, that is why Macky Sall fell out with President Wade. Because after the OIC, Macky Sall said in Parliament that we want Karim Wade to come and account for how he spent the OIC money. And President Wade was not very happy with that, and then he had to remove Macky Sall, who went to form his own party. So it would mean there will be a lot of corruption as well. So I think for me, we have to rethink this. If it's too late that we cannot really return it to Saudi Arabia or anywhere else to do it, if we have to do it, because at the most we have to do it, let us see how we are going to do it in a responsible way. Let us look at the infrastructure we have, how can we renovate and build on it, and see how we can do it. But for me, coming up with these ideas of 60, 70, bulletproof cars for the royals, VIP lounge here, hotels there. I mean, for me, it just shows that we are not a very serious people when it comes to our development.
So do you see another commission after Barrow? Because Barrow is saying that they told that he doesn't want to have another commission when he leaves office. What do you think?
You see, sometimes we always think that commissions are always about economic malpractice. There are also what they call administrative malpractices. And these things go together. For example, appointments, and so on and so forth. So if Barrow did not really do a good job, if he's not being assertive and trying to be in control and know what he's doing, well, there are highly likely that there'll be another committee. It depends on also who becomes the next president. If that person also wants to dig deep and see if that person also vindictive. So we don't know. But I think for him to be on the safe side, let him make sure that he plays by the book, he follows the rules, and make sure that he's going to do any dodgy, engage in any dodgy activities. But again, I mean, hearing a president saying that anonymous donors, that's a recipe for another commission of inquiry. Because then when the next president comes, he'll tell him, come and tell us who these anonymous donors are and how much did they give you. If they could give you 11 million for you to give to the pilgrims, how many millions did they give you that we don't know about? So obviously, even though going to the commission doesn't mean that you are guilty, because I mean the presumption of innocence is always is a principle that we hold dearly, meaning that you are innocent until proven guilty. But then if there is any cause to suspect that the President Barrow and his government engage in economic and administrative malpractices, we have every right to form a commission for them to see whether they'll be guilty or innocent. So yeah, so that's it.
Read broadly, let's talk about Jammeh as well. Said bringing Jammeh might be extremely dangerous for the country, looking at the fragile security, and he said it will also disrupt transition. So what do you think? Do you think it's dangerous for Jammeh to be brought back to the country, or is not be a priority for this government?
For me, I don't know what informed his opinion or his judgment. Does he know anything about the security situation that we don't know? Does he know? If it has to do with the fragile security situation and the fragile political environment, of course, maybe he has a point, because yesterday you saw the APRC rally, isn't it? Yeah. And it shows that the APRC is still a force in Gambian politics, and they still hold Yahya Jammeh as their supreme leader. So I think Dick Brody was speaking along those lines, that if you should bring a man like that to face justice, to be tried in this country, it could really shake that modicum of peace that we are having. So that is why I think, well, let's listen to what he said, but let us not just accept it. Let us do our own assessment to see what are the pros and cons of bringing Jammeh or not bringing Jammeh from Equatorial Guinea. And then we make our decision based on that assessment.
So as far as Dr. is concerned, bringing Jammeh should not be a priority for this government?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying that let us look at the overall security situation. If we have any reason to believe, based on our assessment, that bringing Jammeh now would kind of create some tensions, it will shake the fragile political situation, then perhaps we should be very careful about it. But if we, from our assessment, understand that, well, everything is in place, we have the infrastructure, we have the security, it wouldn't cause any problems, any hiccups, then why not? He must face justice, obviously. He must come and explain most of these allegations against him. I think it is even in Jammeh's interest to come. I mean, nobody should even force Jammeh to come. If Jammeh knows, as he always maintains, that he is innocent, let him come and then clear himself. So for me, it's even in his interest to come and say, well, look, all these allegations are false. But then again, like I said, the most important thing for Gambians today, Wale, is let us subject most of our decisions to public debate. The most dangerous thing that can happen to our country is if the government really is very close and they make decisions without consulting the public, and because they could make very serious mistakes. That is why it's important that most of these major decisions are subject to public debate, hear the view of experts, listen to both sides before when you make a decision, then you make an informed decision that will not have very serious consequences.
Long time ago when I was growing up, there is this, like, whenever issues happen, they will say, they will take their, like Gambia or Sierra Leone will be like, we are taking our protests to the British government, and they will be like, how long are they going to be your colonial masters? So you used to talk about leadership problem here. Do you have any interest in this leadership? To have a new breed of leaders.
Of course, we
get rid of these dinosaurs.
I'll tell you something, Wally. The country is at a crossroads. Yeah. The only people that can build and transform this country into a 21st century nation are young people.
Young people with intellectual pedigree.
Not necessarily with the intellectual pedigree, but with the right mindset, the right attitude, and with love for country. Young people who understand that the future of this country is their future. You see, most of these, the old men, the old guard, they are going. Most of them have only max 10, 15 years to go. We have 40, 50 years to go. So it's in our interest. But I can tell you something. Young people will take this country very soon. And they'll transform it. And let nobody tell you that they cannot do it, because we have the numbers. And I can assure you that in the next elections, over 60% of those who are going to vote will be young people. So we have the numbers. And we'll take this country, we'll build it, we'll make it the envy of the world. In fact, we'll inspire other young people in other countries to take over their countries and build it.
Doctor, you sound like you want to vie for office in 2021.
2021 is 3 years away. 3 years away, so we'll get there.
Somebody who's on a campaign trail.
Yeah, I mean, is that your opinion?
Well, that's the feeling I have.
Well, so I'll tell you something, Wally. Okay. The day I decide to go into politics and I go on a campaign trail, you wouldn't be asking me this question sitting in a relaxed way. It will be something. The political temperature will be something else.
How are you going to be another Kizza Besigye or what?
Well, we don't know. Let's see how it goes. But for now, I'm not a politician. I just want to make it clear. For now, I'm not a politician. I'm an academic. I'm a public intellectual. And public intellectuals are people who think deeply about the problems of their society, and they try to find solutions for them, and they try to ignite a debate about them. And that's the role I'm playing for now. If I decide to go into politics, nobody can stop me. I'm a Gambian, and constitutionally I'm qualified. I'll go into politics.
So why do people keep this close to their chest when you ask them whether they have interest, instead of they'll beat around, but instead of saying yes, in the next 3 years I will be there? Why don't you go to the point and say yes, I'm interested, I will go?
Well, I mean, if I was interested, not necessarily. If I had confirmed that I was going to do it, I would tell you point blank out. But I haven't decided it yet. It's still open. That's what I'm talking about. The situation is still open. It's still fluid. I could decide next month, in 2 years, to say, okay, you know what? I'm done with university. I've done my best. I'm going to do something else with my life, and I'll go and do it. But for now, I haven't made that decision yet. And I think it will be, it wouldn't make sense if I should come here and confirm or debunk something that I have no clue about.
Come 2021, you, Dr. Cissé, decided that he's not going to run for office. Which political party do you think can steer the affairs of this country?
Now, as a social democrat, yes, who believes in social democracy, who believes in the market, but at the same time aware that the market has flaws in that the market can produce wealth, but it's not very good at redistributing this wealth according to the principles of fairness and justice. So for me, I believe that any government, any political party that promotes an agenda which thinks along these lines, that will promote enterprise, will support market, but then again, will make sure that wealth is redistributed with the principles of fairness, We want to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. We want to reduce not only the financial gap, even the power gap between the powerful and the powerless. And any party that promotes the ideals and the interest of the young people, of people living in disabilities, of the disenfranchised, of the exploited, of the workers, of our pensioners, any party that convinces me that when they come to power, these are going to be their agenda, I'll obviously support that party.
Now, among all these parties we have, which party do you think have some of those qualities, those characteristics?
Well, that's a question. Well, I won't really take in my time, because what we have seen recently in Gambian politics, as in the politics of many African countries, is that we have politicians who want to invest their way into the state house. Now, hardly do you hear our politicians speak about their politics and their programs and what they want to do. Whenever I hear about the politicians in the news, is X-politician X has donated 100,000 here, has donated 1 million here. It's like investing your way into, talk to the people, tell the people your programs, your ideas, your values, what do you believe in, what do you want to do for them, how do you want to change their lives, how do you want to transform society, what type of society do you want to create. These are the things that I haven't really heard from our politicians yet, and I wish I could hear this from them rather than hearing that they are dishing out money. And the funny thing is that in Africa, it pains me when I see somebody who, prior to becoming a president, doesn't have any money. He could barely survive. Becoming president after 6 months, distributing cars and money to people, and people celebrate. Where does he get that money from? It's your money. It's like stealing from them, yet coming back and giving it to them, for them, making them believe that it's your money. And that is why we need a lot of civic education, for people to understand exactly how these things are about. But again, for me, like I said, I listen to politicians, I'm a political observer, but we are still to have a bit of politicians who focus more on policy than personality. It seems like today we have a politics of personality. Political parties revolve around one person, and for me as a Democrat, I don't believe in that. I want to see a party that creates the leader, and not the leader creating the party. A party that is known for ideas, not known for one person. A party known for values and principles and ideals, and a concrete policy and a concrete agenda. I want that party.
Now, Doctor, let me cut it short there. If, you decide in 2021 January, and they said there will be election in November or so, December, are you going to run as an independent candidate, or are you going to run contest on that?
But did I tell you I was never going to run in the first place?
Well, I'm saying, will you go in the event that we are in that situation? Are you going on a political party or going?
Is that an assumption, or you're asking me what I would do?
I'm asking you. I'm not questioning.
But I haven't decided that I would run.
I'm just giving you. We are saying, in the event that this situation happens in 2021, what are you going to decide? You want to go on your own? You want to go on a political party?
Which situation?
That you want to go as an independent candidate. For example, we come 2021, you decided to run for presidency in this country. Are you going as an independent, forming your own party, or you will go on a political party?
Yeah, but I think if we are assuming for the sake of assumption, isn't it? Okay, if that happens, obviously you have to make an assessment of the whole political situation. I mean, I could sit here and tell you, look, okay, I'll go independent. And then come that time, and I realize that it will not be of any political benefit. If I go independent, I have to join an existing political party because there's a leadership vacuum. Because politics is dynamic. So I wouldn't be able to know exactly. What I can certainly tell you is that when you reach that stage, you do an assessment of the whole political situation and see which vehicle. It's like you telling me that, okay, doctor, if you are going to Basse, if you reach Brikama, which vehicle will you take to go to Basse? I'll wait until I get to Brikama, and I look at the range of options. I look at the range of options and which can get me to Basse quickly in a comfortable way.
You are from Brikama. You know that there is GTSC bus. You have Gelegeles. You have the set plus as you call it.
So what if I go to Brikama and okay, what if I say that I'll take the Gelegele and I go to Brikama and realize the Gelegele drivers are on strike? Now the only option is for me to take the bus or maybe something else. So that's why I say if I reach Brikama, I look at the options and explore the range of options there. GTS is here, Gelegele is here. So, and I look at the options and I say, okay, which of them can get me to Basse easily in a comfortable way? I'll take that bus. But for now, I wouldn't be able to tell you that this is how I'll reach Basse if I reach Brikama.
Barrow is the least months in office. Some of his critics said, are unanimous that he's, instead of walking, he's consolidating power. What do you make of that? Did he deliver? Did he at least make some target, or you also think he's consolidating power instead of doing what he's supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, this is not the first time I've said this, and this is not the first time I'll say it. I mean, all indications are that the president focuses more on entrenching himself rather than delivering the goods, rather than focusing on the more important reforms. Otherwise, what is happening to Nogoy Njayati will not be happening to her. It seems like in our drive to consolidate our power, to entrench ourselves in power. You see, while power is toxic, it is intoxicating. It is like alcohol. People will tell you it's sweet, you want to try it. You say, no, I just want a sip. That's all I need, a sip, and I'll put it down. You take a sip, oh wow, it's sweet. Oh, another sip. Before you know what's happening, you are a bit tipsy. And then you got drunk, and then you hold on to the bottle. I don't want to give it away because we are drunk with power. And that is, you need a certain type of disposition for you to be able to understand that power, money, fame are destructive. Because what they create in you is pride, and pride is one of the 7 sins of death. And that is what has destroyed many of our African leaders, because they lacked disposition to really know that this power, fame, money are delicate and they should be handled with care. And they get so consumed by it, and later it destroys them. And you saw it in the in our African region, the Mobutus, the Bokasas, the Idi Amins, the Dos, the Strassas, the list goes on. And that is the problem. And unless we, and that comes again to the education I'm talking about, leadership education, ethics, morality, deontology. It's very, very, very important. That is why it surprises me that in the government education system, philosophy is not taught in high schools. Most students come in contact with philosophy when they come to university. In other countries, philosophy is in high schools, and because it teaches you, it gives another type of frame of mind to understand most of these complex worldly issues, and that is what is missing. And I think we really have to educate our young people to understand these dynamics.
You talk about the Dos, the Bokasas. If you go to East Africa, you have the Kamarages, you have the Ali Hassan Muinis, the Kapas, the Maurice Kikwete, the Pangamagafulis. What makes them different from these other people?
I think
we have seen very level-headed presidents in Tanzania since 60s down way to 2018.
You have to understand that East Africa, they are, I think, okay, most of East Africa, like especially Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, they are white settlers there for a very long time. In East Africa, most of them had, I mean, Western education. And also, they have not also been victims of coup d'etats, as we witnessed in West Africa, when we started in Benin. I think was it Benin, I think, yeah, with Olympio.
Chris Olympio.
Exactly. Yeah. Then Nigeria, and then, you know, in the 60s, then Ghana, and the list goes on. So I think that also made it different. We saw, I mean, in Botswana, yeah. I mean, they had a good start. And in, obviously, you see, always a start is very important. If you look at Senegal, Senghor, you know, was an intellectual. He was an intellectual. He was one of those who started the Negritude movement. I mean, and then what he did was he handed over power voluntarily. He left, and that continued a legacy of democracy in Senegal. Injected that democratic culture in Senegal. That is why I always tell Barrow that the best you can do for the Gambia is to relinquish power voluntarily. Don't be removed through election or anything else. After your 3 or 5 years, just relinquish power, at least for the first time in the political history of the Gambia. We have a president who voluntarily relinquishes power. This will inject a new democratic culture in our country, and that will continue, obviously. But otherwise, we will still be grappling with the problems of leaders who want to self-perpetuate.
What should other Africans learn from countries like Botswana? You look at from Kama, Festus Mogae, and even the son. There has been a more steady democracy in Africa. Like I always cite Botswana and Cape Verde, not South Africa, not Senegal or Ghana's democracy. What can our leaders learn from those countries? And what, like you said, a good start. Maybe good. But Jawara was an intellectual. Why was the problem that Jawara was still?
I mean, Jawara had to grapple with a lot of problems. Jawara had to grapple with a very small population. The population was over 300,000. Had to grapple with Jawara did well actually, because before, 20 years after independence, Gambia ran the best civil service in the sub-region. And also, despite all the challenges Jawara faced, he was able to, make us to have independence. run a country smoothly and so on and so forth. Obviously, the oil crisis in the 70s and the economic crisis created some financial problem, not only for Gambia but also most of the African countries. But I think what we can learn to answer a question from the other leaders is that what this guy Kama did in Botswana when he came was that he went to search for experts and brought them to develop Botswana, and they had that good start. Now, there's a difference there. If you are the president or you are given power, and the only thing you focus on is not your legacy, but how you further entrench yourself, you'll surround yourself with people who will help you entrench yourself. But if you are focusing on the legacy you are going to leave behind, you will go and look for people and surround yourself with those people who are going to help you achieve that goal. And that is the difference. We've been unfortunate to have leaders who are just concerned with entrenching themselves in power. So they brought people who can help them achieve that goal. And until and unless we have a leader who understands these issues and wants to leave a legacy, wants to serve for 10 years and leave something so that it continues, you'll bring people, you'll surround yourself with people who can help you achieve that goal.
Incredible leaders, Joachim Chissano did extremely well. But we have seen when they hand over Philip Nyusi, like those people are doing well in Namibia and so on. But others also sway. So institutional building also, or strong institution also, do you think that also contributes? Because you have an extremely good leader, but when you step aside, another one will come and it will just destroy everything.
Yeah, that is why the good leader will have to build a strong institution. So that even, okay, look at America today. Yeah, Trump is bad. I mean, but then I don't think Trump will do that much damage for America before, even whether it's 4 years or 8 years. But because America has strong institutions, and sometimes the Supreme Court will oppose some of his decisions. Congress will do, so because they have built strong institutions. So even the leader alone, that person, that individual, cannot really do much to destroy the nation. That is what we need to do. We need to build strong institutions so that the country is run by institutions and not by individuals. And that is where the difference is.
Doctor, I think we have to end it here. Thank you so much for your time. Finally, what would be your message?
My message is Gambians, we are one. The country is ours. Let's work hard to develop it, to make it. We don't only owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the posterity. And I'm urging to all Gambians who are in a position to help Nogoy Njai and co. and the family of Solo Sandeng, let them please help them, because Nogoy Njai, when you see her, you know she needs help. And one thing that I was amazed by with Nogoy Njai and Fatou Jawara, they are royals. If it was me, I would have been ranting my mouth months ago about my plight. But they've been quiet for almost 2 years, with that pain, keeping quiet about it. If you see them come out, because they didn't have a choice. And I think let the president, let Lawyer Dabo, the party leader, please go and visit these people, talk to them, make sure you help them as well. Not only Nogoy Njai, but all victims, especially the April 14 victims. They are really suffering. They must be helped as soon as possible. Yes, the TRRC is on the way, but before we are done with TRRC, most of these people will succumb to the atrocities that were meted against them. So please look at them, visit them, help them, and make sure they get the treatment they need as soon as possible.
So you see Nogoy Njai as Joyce Mujuru, or as Santua of Ghana.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that is Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia. That's all we have for you today. From me, Omar Wali, and my team, we thank you. Till tomorrow. Bye.